Are we porking this cow? Welcome to this one last podcast. Thank you for joining us today. Going to do a simple episode today because we are simple fellas. D-Easy is unable to join us, but he is with us in spirit. Let's take a moment for D-Easy. So, we do have to my left P Breezy.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good. I guess I'll fill in for D. I'm the P Breezy, the white boy Slim. No wait, that was Gangster. The Weeb Slim. I don't know. I got nothing.
Fair enough. I am Ryan B. Online, and I am the drunk boy Slim, I suppose. Enjoying a delicious house wine, rosé, in a can. For your convenience.
The way Florida man intended.
Mm-hmm. It is actually not bad. And I also drank a old-fashioned lemonade earlier. It's also not bad. So we're just gonna roll into this thing. We're gonna just park it in the porpoise. Park the porpoise. Huh?
Yes. I'm not sure I get the specific reference, but all right.
Park the porpoise. That's from Van Wilder. I want to park the porpoise.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Kumar.
His pre White House days.
Tej? No, Taj. That's the other guy we're doing. It's Tej.
Both titans of the industry.
It was a different time. He is now... No, not now. He is now a former White House correspondent.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah. What did he do?
He was on the staff for Obama.
Okay.
Mostly, I believe, in the media department. Not specifically like writing, but he was just in his media group.
Okay. Cool. I don't know anything about politics, but Paul, you know a lot about politics.
I don't know if you get people mad.
So Paul, you should do a show on politics, a spinoff, if you will.
No, because here's the problem. Every time I've seen somebody who does a political show, they just look like they're having the worst year of their life.
True. But I feel like you would be really good at it because that's your secret. You're always having the worst year of your life.
Oh, fair enough.
No. You could just get all sarcastic and Pauly. It'd be like the Daily Show, but for, us.
Real salt of the earth. Morons.
Morons. There we go. You can't make a film like that these days. So, anyways, got sidetracked there for a bit. Let's start out with some news. Paul, did you know that We Got This Covered has reported, allegedly, the executives at Universal would like a crossover with two of their most successful film franchises. Any guess to what those film franchises are?
Well, their biggest ones are definitely Fast and Furious.
Uh-huh.
Despicable Me. So don't get me wrong. I would love to see Dom's traps in CG.
Yeah. I would love to see some Minions and The Rock.
Their other big franchise is Jurassic World, but that doesn't make sense. They wouldn't do that. That would be like jumping the Megalodon.
I mean, they're going to go to space here pretty soon, so... Yes, that is the correct assumption there. Fast and Furious and Jurassic World. I guess that's what they're just going to call it, Jurassic World now, as opposed to just Jurassic Park. Oop.
Yeah, I mean they're trying
to
minimize the comparisons as much as possible.
That's on me. I set the bar too low.
Yeah, Jurassic World, despite all of its faults and failures, is still making a ton of money.
Yep.
And will continue to make a ton of money because it's dinosaurs.
It's weird that Jurassic World, what's the new Fallen Kingdom?
The Fallen Fallen Kingdom was the last one. The one coming up, I think, is going to be Dominion.
Okay.
Or something like that.
But it's weird that the Fallen Kingdom did... I don't think anybody liked it. I never heard a good review about it, but it made plenty of money and apparently warranted a sequel. It's weird that even, the critics and the fans don't really have good things to say about it. But here we go. Let's do another one.
Yeah, because I think that was it. It's like Transformers. Mm-hmm. It's just name alone is enough to get people out there. Like maybe this is the one. This is the one. I mean, the first one was fine, flawed as it was. The second one, they just try to do too much. Like probably a little too far going with the spoilers. Clone Kid, that may have been going a little too far. And let's just be honest, most of the people in that series are just horrible people and miserable to listen to.
Oh yeah, they're not pleasant. First off, Marky Mark, I'm an inventor. Wahlberg, his character was not particularly good. The daughter character was insufferable, and her boyfriend, who has like a laminated copy of the Romeo and Juliet law that says, yeah, no, I can totally bang this minor, in his wallet. It's a very Michael Bay thing to do.
It was probably his.
Yeah.
Probably didn't even make it. He's already had it.
The only good character got unceremoniously killed in T.J. Miller.
Good death, though.
Yep.
It's a pretty good death.
Yeah. And the less said about the beef, the better.
Well, so...
my question is, how are they going to tie these two franchises together if they do it?
I feel like it'd be pretty easy, if I'm being honest. I mean, depending what happens with Dominion...
Yeah.
Either it's going to be somebody, for some reason, hires them or forces them to steal the embryos of the eggs. Or something that happens if they continue what happened at the end of the last one where dinosaurs are just running wild and those dinosaurs like attack them and they have to like get out of something. Basically like a Jurassic Park, Jurassic World style like escape movie. That would happen that'd be pretty easy to explain too.
I suppose so.
Again, we're all waiting to see The Rock fight a dinosaur.
That's true.
That's if nothing else, it's gonna be.
He didn't do that in Journey to the Center of Earth.
I don't remember.
I didn't watch it. But
Nobody watched it.
Yeah. He kind of, sort of did in that he didn't actually fight it, but in Rampage, he was against a giant. Well, it was a lizard.
To be fair, it was an alligator or a lizard, whatever it was. Yes, everybody wants to see The Rock just.
Everybody just wants to see
bare knuckle box a fucking dinosaur. Vin Diesel lure a dinosaur into submission.
I mean, he's already Quadzilla.
I mean, fuck it. I mean, and even like in the report itself, like I think like just not to piss anybody off, like Justin Lin kind of like went with it.
Yeah,
was like, oh well, who knows? But I think it was one of those two words like they've said like candidly. If they actually do that, they know straight up that's jumping the shark.
Oh yeah,
and there's no going back after that.
Well, jumping the megalodon.
Yeah, there's no more going back after that. Like that's like if we're doing this is like the last thing we're doing with these characters.
Well, allegedly, like Fast 10, your seatbelts is going to be like the last one, but they're going to split it, a la Harry Potter and whatever that one was.
Yeah, for 10 and 11.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, family finds a way.
We'll see. I mean, I don't want to do spoilers too soon, but early reviews from China are not great for this movie so far.
Really? Fast 9?
Yeah. It released this week over in China, and a lot of the American outlets have gotten copies of it, and one or two, like I think I9 or somebody like had like a good review of it. But most of the other ones have been fairly mild to not great. I mean, granted, it's never been a critical darling. Mm-hmm. I think even your boy Roger Ebert only enjoyed like 3 of them.
Yeah. To be fair, this series is one of those series where like they're all fun to watch, but I don't know that any of them are particularly good. Like, with the exceptions of the ones that just do the fun to watch the best. Like, we all kind of were in agreement of Too Fast, Too Furious is one of our favorites. But that's because it's such a fun ride.
Critics hated it.
What?
Critics hated it.
Yeah. So, like, right there, I mean, for a lot of people out there, regardless of what the critics think, they're probably going to enjoy it anyways.
Yeah.
So, hard to really set that standard.
Yeah. I mean, Michael Bay still has a career, so.
Yep. It's weird because, like, has he even? When's the last time he made a movie?
Battleship?
Hey Google, when's the last time Michael Bay made a movie?
Here's what I found on the web.
The last time.
Google don't know shit. The last time he directed, I think, might have been Ninja Turtles. Or, no, I think The Last Night. Because he was involved in Bad Boys for Life.
Yeah, but he wasn't
But
like a.
I think the actual last time he directed, I think, was the last Transformers movie. But yeah, I mean, fuck it, man. Whatever, man. At this point, fuck it. I mean, I have no attachment to the Jurassic World series, and at this point, I mean, by the time they do it, everybody's gonna be in their 50s or almost 60s in the Fast franchise. So fuck it, let's do it.
You know, you know what's good for my sciatica? Family.
I mean, he's not wrong because they can help to reach the spots with the cream that he can't get to.
So last night was the last movie he directed, but Six Underground he also directed.
Oh yeah, that was a thing. I completely deleted that from my memories.
It's hard to realize. 2017 was last night. Like the movie, not like last night. So, like, it's only been 4 years, but that movie feels a lot older.
I don't even remember. I never watched it. Wait. No, I never watched that. I think. Was that the one where he was mind control? Was that the last Transformers movie?
Yeah, that's the one with the
It was,
King
like,
Arthur
mind control
shit.
and Yeah, I never watched it.
But I don't know. It just feels like that's a lot older. Anyways, speaking of stuff, Segway King, baby. Paul, we got a new pandemic record for opening weekend.
New signs that the pandemic is coming towards an end, guys.
Yep,
Besides everybody just giving up,
we did it. Mission accomplished.
we did it, guys, with 50% of adults.
Fully vaccinated.
No, I think 70% of eligible adults and 50% of the population, something like that. I forget the number. Anyways, more places are opening, and A Quiet Place 2 set the pandemic record for biggest opening weekend with a worldwide box office of $80.5 million. 57 domestic, which destroys the last two movies. Wonder Woman 84 with $16.4 million back in December, and somehow Tom and Jerry at $13.7 million.
Do people actually go to the theaters to see that?
They must have. I mean, because again, it was free on HBO Max, so somebody went to pay for it.
40.7% of the country's population.
There you
Yeah, that's kind of strange though. Like, I mean, I didn't even remember hearing anything about it. I didn't even watch it on fucking HBO Max, to be honest with you.
go. Yeah, I was never going to.
No, that's so weird. Wonder Woman 84 obviously is the first new comic book movie to come out post-pandemic. So it was going to have some effect, regardless of how awful it was. And outside of that, I mean, it still takes time for that news to spread and then it needs to be more or less verified that it's not a good movie. And even after it's verified, people still want to go see it.
Yeah.
Like, let me witness this train wreck.
Yeah, I mean, but like I said, I think even that, like, I think it was one of those that like people were going to see it. Like I was going to see it regardless, just because I needed to know how bad it was. Like I knew going into it was going to be bad. Mm-hmm. The trailers told me everything I needed to know, and they just backed up my thoughts. I mean, in general, it's been a pretty weak year, anyways, because everybody keeps pushing. I mean, everything we have is there's still like 10 like blockbuster movies that they pushed back to this year that still haven't come out yet.
Yeah.
Because of this stuff. So I think the first one that's coming out from that got pushed back is gonna be Black Widow
Yep.
later this month or next month. I forget. Coming up soon. Everything. I mean, we're still waiting for Bond. We're still waiting for a bunch of shit.
And it's a bit of a shame that that Quiet Place is setting this record, because I haven't heard good things about the reviews. I heard that it kind of just misses a lot of the tone and the feeling of the first one, which I would imagine absolutely, because the first one was like, it was a predominantly silent film.
Yep.
Like, as far as dialogue is concerned. And in this one, they're adding a lot more human elements to it. There's a lot more interaction. I haven't seen it yet, so I can't fully speak of it. Maybe I'll go see it. I don't know. It's not streaming, right?
No. I mean, other than whatever they might be doing in VOD.
So do you suppose that that is a contributing factor?
Probably. I think it's more just because very, very recently places have laxed on requirements.
Mm-hmm.
So, whether, now that you don't have to wear the mask, or now that businesses actually are starting to open up again.
Yep.
And again, too, like the studio, I think, I know Krasinski and people behind it, they were very adamant about, like, they were only going to wait until it can come out in theaters.
Yep.
So I'm sure it is available like, you could probably order from Xfinity or other places. But I think because it is the first, like, quasi big movie that is predominantly not online or not streaming.
Well,
and
outside of Tenet.
Yeah, but that was like middle of, like, pandemic, like, disaster, and it wasn't good.
Vaccines weren't readily available.
Yeah. It was. Yeah, this is what. Yeah, that was what, September, July,
Something like that.
So yeah, it was still fairly early. At a point too where a lot of people were still trying to be good and still trying not to go out as much as as they were going to. But yeah, it's just. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely. I mean, I'm a little surprised because this did even more this weekend than the original did opening weekend.
Yeah.
So, I mean, good for them.
But I mean, the original was kind of like an unknown factor, and the original was excellent. Saw the original, loved it. So, like, I mean, now there is an actual expectation for it, and it's becoming a series, a potential franchise, whatever. I could see it drawing in more people just by that fact. And then on top of that, there is something about seeing a horror / tense, thriller in a theater that is different from just watching it at home. Because you're not in the familiarity of your home. You're not in your comfortable place. So the experience is maybe a little bit more intense. For some people, I don't know. But
yeah, I mean, I've said numerous times, I'm not a huge fan of horrors or, like, the kind of thriller movies, like the jump scare stuff.
Not a fan of horrors.
But they did a really good job. I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean, also, on a surface level, while I understand you can make anything into a sequel, it didn't lend itself very well to a sequel.
No.
So, I mean, that was definitely going against it, too. I mean, again, from just based on the trailers, there's more flashbacks, and it seems like it's a lot more action-based, which I guess it kind of has to be, because, I mean, we already know, but, I mean, unless you change the monsters fundamentally, like the aliens change somehow, you kind of have to, like, up the ante, like, make it more bombastic.
Well, a couple things about that. For one, I feel like it lends itself to a prequel, but at the same time, with a prequel, all you can do is just, if you're going to follow the same family, that's kind of boring, because everyone survives until that movie. Or you got to follow someone unrelated, and then you got to kind of go through, basically rehash the same story. Not having seen it, I can't tell you what went down with the story, but I guess as a sequel, you said it's very flashback heavy.
Well, again, there were at least one or two flashbacks in the trailer.
I think.
So I mean, even if it's just one sequence in the beginning, because I mean, I'm sure, they wanted to show Krasinski in there at least once.
Yeah.
I'm sure for the fans, because he's got plenty of simps. I mean, no shame. I'm a card member. I think just already that's more than they showed in the first one.
Chimps?
Because in the first one, it was again like the big problem with movies like this is that a lot of the tension comes from not really knowing what these things are.
Yeah.
So it's not until like the very end of the movie where you really like start to see them and like what they look like and how they act, and they're still creepy as fuck. Which is like they're really well designed creatures.
Yeah.
So how do you do that again in a movie where you've seen what they look like, you know what they do, you know how they act, you've seen this family, they're older, they're
Wiser?
I mean, I guess they're wiser, but they're also down a key member. So, you know, now they're bringing in new characters to kind of like help support that.
Well, I guess you deal with how do they move forward with that, and apparently it was very briefly touched on in the first one, spoiler alerts, is that there are still people in the world. Mm-hmm. You know? And it's like, okay, how do you deal with those people? Now, the thing of it is, again, spoilers, end of the first one, they discovered how to deal with them. At least on a small scale. How does that factor in? You know, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on there. So I think it should be pretty good. Wouldn't mind going to see it. I'm off Thursday and Friday. I might go to it. Might do my thing.
No.
Mm-hmm. I might, as the kids say, fuck around and find out. Either way. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be like sex at a campground. Fucking intense. Thank you, folks. I'll be here all week.
You don't have to be.
She's saying, the fuck you will. Alright. I finished my house wine rosé. Now I'm going to open up a house wine ginger mule. You want to try this one?
You first.
Okay.
Why are you doing that?
I'm going to decant it.
Decant it. Yeah.
Okay. This is a house wine ginger mule. It is 9% alcohol by volume. It is made with grape wine, natural flavors, and caramel color.
Is there organic caramel color?
Probably. It smells like a very not intense mule. Like there's very little like spice, like heat, kind of. You know what I'm talking about?
Adding ginger for color.
Well, I'm willing to bet there is some ginger flavor to it, but just probably severely muted. It smells very sweet.
So while you're trying that, I'll bring up one of our last couple things. We'll blow through these pretty quickly because only one of them is actually like big. Well, I guess two of them are pretty big. To skip the joke, those two things are The Rock's legs. Mm-hmm. He looks insane now. Somehow despite the fact that I know he has a massive upper body, it looks tiny compared to his quads now. It is insane. His legs are like the size of a fucking keg each. And so veiny.
Yeah. I did bother to pull it up there.
Oof.
And that's a thick boy.
Well, it's funny. So here today, as we're recording this, today is National Say Something Good Day. Say Something Nice Day. If I will say something nice for DC, that is great because that came out within a week of a workout from Brie Larson, where she shows off being able to do a one-handed pull-up. Where she also, in an interview somewhere, said she wanted to be the female Tom Cruise. So, bold statement. Good for her. Good for her.
I feel like Tom Cruise is a female Tom Cruise.
I feel like if Tom Cruise wasn't so insecure, he'd be non-binary.
Why does Tom Cruise run in all of his movies? Can't catch me, gay thoughts.
But yeah, The Rock looks the same.
Mm-hmm.
They don't look real at all. They look like fucking cartoon legs. They're fucking gross.
They look like somebody just like put a tube in his legs and started inflating them. Like, you ever see that picture of that genetically modified cow where it's just like all fucking muscle?
Yep.
Looks like that. It's actually not bad. It's not spicy, but it's very gingery, if that makes any sense. A lot of times when you drink a Mule, you drink that ginger beer, you get that spice, that tickle in your nose. Like, that has none of that. But it's gingery.
Yeah, I think it's probably because it's a wine base. Mm-hmm. That's why it's so muted.
But
yeah, it's fine.
Pretty tasty.
Yeah.
House wine. Yummy.
Something less deflated.
Recommend.
Your girl, Gal Gadot, says she wants to leave Wonder Woman after the next installment.
Well, that's pretty good. Because allegedly, after the next installment, they're going to reboot the franchise.
Boom.
I enjoyed the first movie. And her theme song's pretty dope. Outside of that, she hasn't had a great run. I don't think that's her fault by any means. She was okay in Batman vs. Superman, if not one of the best parts of Batman vs. Superman, other than Batman just kicking the shit out of bad guys. But outside of that first movie, man, like Wonder Woman 84 wasn't very good. Her parts in Justice League weren't particularly good. Even the Snyder Cut version of her wasn't that good. Highly underdeveloped.
Yeah. I mean, she's evidence in general of how Warner Bros., DC, Snyder doesn't know how to use the universe they were given. You have some of the most iconic and well-known characters in comic book, not just comic book history, but like fictional history, and you still can't get them right. Like you lose their fundamental basis. Like, granted, like Wonder Woman has gone through wildly different identities.
Yeah.
So, but they never really picked one. They wanted both of them because in the Wonder Woman movie, she's more of the ideal, like the more, I don't want to say for an easier way to describe it, a more motherly approach, a more like
feminine approach.
I guess feminine. Yeah, I guess just wanting to more protect humanity than anything else. Whereas in all the Snyder stuff she's in, she's fucking like throwing dudes around and breaking their necks like crazy.
Yeah.
She kills so many people. So many people.
Yeah.
But she's still arguing for like against, like, it just doesn't make, like, she's so unbalanced in that stuff. And it's like either she's the warrior or she's the ideal. Like, you have to pick one. You can't just like swing her both on both sides of that like sword. Either she's a sword or a shield, but you can't have her be both wildly separately.
Well, I think you can do that, but you need to show a struggle with that. And they don't do that. They just like, she's one or the other, depending on what the plot wants.
Yeah.
Because there's that element of Wonder Woman, always has been. There's that element of any hero, really. Is it's the kick-ass side or the protector side. So I mean, like, it's not like it's without cause. To make your heroes have that duality to them, and her especially, because of the fact that she is a woman in a man's world, at least a woman created by a bunch of guys, who's supposed to be on par with all of them. But I think the biggest problem that the DC EU has with Wonder Woman can be summed up in the end of Batman vs. Superman. They're fighting Doomsday, and everybody's getting punched around and kicked in this and that and the other. And you got Wonder Woman who comes in, and she's fighting with them, and she proves that she's super strong, almost as strong, if not as strong as Superman. And Superman finds a kryptonite spear, and he has to go sacrifice himself and use a kryptonite spear to defeat Doomsday. When Wonder Woman is right fucking there, who is equally as powerful, or at least powerful enough that you could give her a experienced warrior. You could give her the fucking spear, and she has no issue with kryptonite. Doomsday does. Like, she wouldn't even have to immediately stab him in the chest like fucking Superman does. Like, I'm gonna fly straight at him with the stupid spear. She could literally just grab the spear and do her warrior shit, gradually weakening fucking Doomsday and kill him.
Yep.
But they don't want to do that because they got to give the W to Superman so that they can make him look like a savior, so they can kill him off because they want to copy the most popular Superman storyline, which is the death of Superman. Yes, I know that it says Superman, but you know it fits. And I get it. It's supposed to be Superman's movie. But at the same time, you literally introduced the female Superman who doesn't have his weakness. Fucking user. That's just lazy fucking story writing.
That's Zack Snyder.
And that's Zack Snyder. That's not just Zack Snyder. That's the fucking DCEU as a whole. Like, we're going to say this thing. Well, you got this massive plot hole here. Well, we don't care. We're going to do this thing because we want to do it. Does it enhance the story in any way? No. Does it enhance the characters in any way? No. Does it help you sell merchandise? Maybe. Does it help in any way for anyone at all? No. But she's still going to do it. Yep. And you wonder why you're not as successful as Marvel.
No, they don't wonder. They know it's because of bias and simp fanboys who just want to fall around the pretty boys of the Marvel Universe.
I mean, I feel like DC has more simp fanboys than anybody.
They have more submissive fanboys.
It's true.
They're regardless. They want to defend the Snyder.
I'm not going to fight you on
Snyderverse. They want to defend the Snyderverse to a fault. Because I don't like because even there, like the sad part is about the DCU, the movies that he didn't do. I think we enjoyed most of them.
Yeah.
Aquaman, first Wonder Woman, Shazam.
Yep. Shazam was great. Wonder Woman's great.
I mean, even as bad as it was, Suicide Squad was better than BVS to me.
Yeah.
Still wasn't good.
Suicide Squad was an excellent example of fucking studio interference causing massive problems. I feel like that movie would have been way better if they would have just taken the animated version of that, where they did like the whole thing where it was the Joker was the bad guy and it was a very grounded story, and just put that in live action.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like that probably was what they originally were planning for because the way the marketing was done.
Yep.
And it just never materialized like that.
No. They were like, we need to put fucking Enchantress in here. Why? Why?
We need a CGI fight.
So just make a very acrobatic Joker.
Yeah, gross.
Or fucking have him fight the Joker's hyenas. Or, I don't know, there's a number of ways to go about that. Anyway.
It's also a Suicide Squad. You don't need a CGI fight.
No, you don't.
Most of them are pretty underpowered characters.
They're not only are they underpowered, but they're also mostly just like fucking killers. They're just like, let's go in and murk somebody and then get out.
But here we are. Mm-hmm. But hey, maybe that'll change with the new proposed Warner Bros. Discovery media company.
Nice.
Who knows?
Now that's the thing.
Fucking segue.
I don't understand. That's how you segue to what? Our main topic?
It's not main topic.
Oh,
yet.
Okay. All right. Oh, are you talking about our other topic?
Warner Bros. Discovery.
Oh, I don't know. Is that what we're talking about?
I'll just mention it. Just that again, like they are doing a merger with. I forget what main company the parent company is. Anyways, to AT&T and whatever else. Anyways, they're selling off Warner Brothers. They're going to merge with Discovery. So we'll have the crossover of the Property Brothers and Suicide Squad. Probably, who the fucking knows. So for better or worse, who knows? Again, the people in charge of it now are unrelated to Warner Bros. Before.
That's what you're saying is Lily from AT&T is going to be in the Suicide Squad.
No, because they sold off.
Oh,
they sold it off.
They sold off Lily from AT&T.
They sold out Warner Bros.
They sold off Milana Vaintrub. I didn't know that she was available. I'd buy that for $1.
Bidding wars already started. You're way behind.
Yeah, I'm kidding. I'd buy that for a healthy dose of feminine respect. Because I follow her on Instagram, so I know she's really cool. Speaking of those things, Paul, I've got a loaded question for you.
There's a segment.
Paula, if you woke up in a room and you were confused, and there was a snowman in front of you, and there was on a table nearby you a carrot and 2 lumps of coal, and still very confused, but your confusion is about to be assuaged by a video that plays of Jigsaw. If he can be the puppet guy, or he can be Tobin Bell, I don't care.
Jigsaw of Spiral fame?
Of Spiral fame. My favorite cut of ham. My least favorite Chris Rock movie, even though I haven't seen it. And this tape of Jigsaw started with him saying, "I'd like to play a game. On the table beside you, there are 3 common objects, 2 pieces of coal, and 1 carrot. In front of you is a snowman. If you place the carrot and the pieces of coal in the correct places, you will survive and be let out of the room. If you do not, you will be killed. Do you place the pieces of coal and the carrot on the snowman's head to make a smiley face? Or do you place them on his crotch to make a penis?" The clock is ticking.
So here's the problem. Now this comes into the underlying meaning of what Jigsaw is trying to tell me. What is the correct place?
Yes.
Is man faceless, without control of his own destiny, and really with that meaning that he's truly only thinking with his dick, or that man giving away the power that his dick has over himself can finally see and understand the world properly. So which is the right way to do it? Does Jigsaw think that the right way is to lead with passion and with your heart, hence coal balls? Or do you need to see properly throughout do you need to properly see the world in order to properly live within it? Which is the bigger sin? Lead with your heart or lead with your brain?
The brains.
Man, it'd be sad to see that someone with no dick.
Sure would.
I probably would be killed because the time would run out.
Fair enough. You would procrastinate to your death.
Because I would have spent half the time just doing a bad impression of your boy. What is the right state of man? Leading with his heart or leading with his mind?
Yeah. What is the right state of man? Does he lead with his heart or does he lead with his penis? I'd put the carrot and stuff on his junk because it's funnier. And at least I would die laughing.
Again, serving your favorite audience.
Close to home.
We did it, guys.
We did it. We did it.
We did it. Nothing. Nothing.
Mission accomplished. 10 million subscribers, guys. Somebody's got it. I don't know who.
Somebody has 10 million followers, right?
Does PewDiePie have it? Probably. I don't know what he does. What's PewDiePie all about? He's being Swedish and saying "my dudes" a lot.
And every once in a while the N-word.
Apparently.
But
great segue to no.
I mean, there's not enough racism. You know, it's surprisingly low racism in the universe we're covering. Anyways, we're going back.
A lot of inclusion.
There is, surprisingly. Especially from a bald Italian man.
Yes. Well, you know, is Sinclair an Italian name?
So we're going back to everybody's.
Not a lot of LGBTQ inclusion. So, happy Pride Month to our LGBTQ viewers. We'll do better. I'm sorry.
If you have any recommendations for what we should cover during this month, let us know.
Yeah.
We're gonna still keep steamrolling through the Fast and Furious universe.
We got 3 more. So, like, we'll do our best.
Which brings us to a renaissance of sorts in this universe.
A reinvention, reinvigoration.
Fast Five. Yeah. Probably one of the better names in this whole franchise, the easiest to remember.
Yeah. Until the 10th one. We all know it. We're not going to say it.
So, quick little rundown. Go over the fast facts for Fast Five. Run time, 2 hours and 12 minutes. The first Fast and Furious movie to go over 2 hours.
Nice.
Released on April 29th, 2011. Justin Lin's back to direct.
Good for him.
His thoughts behind the film, which is very obvious when you're watching it, were all about freedom and family. Hell, if you're watching this movie, you can probably do your own drinking game. But whenever somebody says freedom, free, or family, it wouldn't last very long.
Family.
Budget, $125 million, which I believe was the biggest up to this point so far. Opening weekend, $109 million. First one to do over $100 million the first weekend.
Very respectable.
Yes, probably would have done a lot better overall, but the following week, an indie film came out called Thor.
Nice.
Total box office, $626 million. Year-end box office ranking, number 7. This was one of the first big years of sequels. The top 10 movies, except for the Smurfs, were all sequels. Transformers, Pirates of the Caribbean, Kung Fu Panda. I believe it was Transformers: Dark of the Moon. I think at World's End maybe for Caribbean. I forget. Kung Fu Panda 2, Mission Impossible. I think that one was Ghost Protocol. Twilight, the last one, and Harry Potter, the last one. And that was the top film of the year. Made over $1 billion.
It did.
It's insane. And this year they finally beat The Hangover. They lost last time, but they beat them this time.
Well, that's a good milestone, I suppose. That being said, do you suppose it has any kind of a connection to the idea of the slow decline of comedies in terms of favor in general public and movie-going public in particular?
Maybe. It's hard for me to say because that one also was a bit of a decline from the first one.
Fair point.
And again, it didn't beat it by a lot. It was it was only 2 spots behind it. And last time I think it was only 1 spot ahead of it. So they're pretty comparative. And this one also way ups the ante from the previous Fast and Furious films.
Absolutely. Well, and to be fair, the previous one from this one was more of a return to the grounded nature of the first film. Yeah. And I realize that saying grounded nature and Fast and Furious film seems ridiculous now.
Yes. This one they definitely do start more defiantly ignoring physics.
Yep.
And the science of the world. But that's fine. Categorized as an action-adventure heist. Mm-hmm. So, which is perfect because there's so many scenes in here that remind me straight up from if Entourage made Ocean's 11.
Yeah.
Like straight up, like I think it's even the same music.
If Entourage made Ocean's 11 and was sponsored by Sparko.
Yeah. Actually, A&E Performance,
Nice.
which is a shirt that Brian like wears like 3 different versions of. There's even like the montage scene where they're like, "Oh, well, we need a chip guy, we need a talker, we need a chameleon, we need this," and they're like, it's the same like flow as like the Ocean's 11 scene where they're like gathered, like the montage, they're getting everybody together. Only instead of like going to see them working, they're just like arriving in Rio. Like, all right, it's a little anticlimactic, but all right.
Corporate wants you to find the difference between these 2 pictures. They're the same picture.
Noticeable, 2 big, again, I already mentioned one, the introduction of crazily physics-defying stunts.
Yep.
Several, in fact. And introduction of Dwayne Johnson to the series.
Dwayne, if you can smell what The Rock is cooking, The Rock Johnson.
Well, he's cooking blockbusters.
He is cooking blockbusters.
And this is 10 years ago. I rewatched this movie today. He is huge and still a lot smaller than he is now.
Yep. This is like, I've envisioned The Rock at this point as like just like a crazy chef in like a food truck that is like the most popular food truck in wherever, and he's just like keeps flipping out like Blockbuster's just like, what you need? Got it. You smell that? That's what I'm cooking.
With him too is okay. So I guess I forgot. So they got a bunch of incentives to film this in Puerto Rico.
Fair enough.
So most was done in Puerto Rico. There are some exteriors that were done in Rio.
Not Brazil.
Yeah, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, you said Puerto Rico?
The majority of it was shot in Puerto Rico. They had to do some exterior shots in Rio because of shit. So they did fly back and forth a little bit, and that's definitely one huge reason why The Rock is sweating the entire goddamn movie. He's just eating nothing but protein for fucking 6 months.
Flapping.
He's just
It's like, The Rock, we're going to move from Puerto Rico to Brazil for this shot. I got you. I smell what you're cooking. And then he just like leaps into the air and like starts flapping his wings. And like, no, Rock, we'll get you on a plane. Nope, I can do this.
I don't think he has enough. His arms don't have enough surface area to carry that mass. It's
bullshit. They don't.
It's insane. He just I remember even when
his arms are so wide they have a girth certificate.
I remember even when it came out, like it was jarring how greasy he was. Mm-hmm. That's right.
He was quite sweaty in that
I'm there
movie.
for it.
Yeah.
So I'm just glad to hear it wasn't just baby oil.
Yeah.
So
it was a mixture. Well, yeah, absolutely. Certainly an absolute win for them.
Yep.
Getting The Rock on board.
Yep. This movie started the new trend of huge action, team ups from characters from around the cinematic universe, and I guess the start of bringing in and bringing back villains as part of the team.
Yeah.
Or nemesis.
Well, is it really though? Like, I mean, because if you think about it, and depending on who you define as the hero of the first movie, it starts with number one. Like, whether you determine Dom is the hero or Brian's the hero, they eventually become allies.
Well, with the first one I don't count because I don't count either one of them because the first one was an actual movie.
Yep.
Had an actual story and plot.
Yep.
Which they quickly abandoned the rest of the movies. So that one was more of a just like, again, it was Dante's Peak for gearheads. Like there was no like, the only villain was fucking your boy, fucking the Asian guy.
Yeah.
He was the only like kind of villain in the film.
Toretto! SWAT came to my house, disrespected my family. You know what? You told them it was you. I never knocked on nobody. Yeah. And to be fair, I feel like the next two movies were 100% spin-offs.
Oh yeah.
It followed Brian and Too Fast, Too Furious, but it was like an entirely unrelated thing. And then Tokyo Drift was 100% unrelated. But, you know, I think that Fast 4, or The Fast and The Furious.
Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious. Sorry, I get them too confused. Like,
Google had the same problem because it took me forever to do research for the fourth one.
yeah.
It kept giving me information for the first one. But yeah, I mean, while they're all different movies, it's just again like this starts kind of the cookie cutter. Like this is the format that we're doing now.
Yeah.
They may go bigger or smaller or different in each film, but it's just basically the same format. Here's a team. Here's a problem. They have to solve it. Big action
Check out
piece
the
at the
hooks
end.
more my DE revolves it.
What?
What?
Big action piece at the end, and then everybody has a barbecue at Dom's house.
It's true.
And that's pretty much been the ending for a while now.
You're part of the family. Fair enough.
So in this movie's one thing you remember, besides Greasy Rock, is the vault chase.
So it's an interesting thing. Both Paul and I watched this video on YouTube, and it was quite wonderful. But when you're talking about all the insane stunts and the overtop physics-defying stunts, the interesting thing about the vault chase is it was 100% practical. Like, yes, there's a lot of trickery, a lot of this and that and the other done to make it work, but it wasn't CG. None of it was CG. A lot of composite shots, but pretty much everything you saw was either a vault or a truck dressed up as a vault. So, like, and they immediately talk about in the same video that we watched that, like, the next movie, spoiler alert, one of the big stunts from that one that everybody remembers is the jumping between the two towers, the Burj Khalifa and whatever other fucking tower that was. And how that was done with composite shots, but also with CG. This one, again, was done just with practical shots and a fucking vault that they pulled behind some cars and flipped around a bunch of times and just put the shots together.
This was all of that, from the streets to the bridge to everything, was a stunt coordinator's wet dream and nightmare.
Yep.
There's reports that like everything on there had to be figured out down to the literal inch,
Yep.
just to make shit work. And there are scenes like that, like probably the two best things that I think the two things that probably stand out the most on all that was the bank scene.
Yeah.
Which there were people in that building that they had to jump out of the way to avoid that prop flying through the building.
The way they put it in the fucking video, it says it's they rolled a vault through on a track, and there were actors in the it wasn't even a bank, it was just a store.
Yeah, they just like built up a facade.
And they rolled the fucking vault through on a track, and there were actors who were told when to hit their mark. So it's like, there's like, all right, this is going to come through the fucking wall, and it's going to smash through shit. You need to move from here to here at this time, otherwise you're fucked.
Yeah. And another scene that was maybe not as impressive, but also just as impressive, was the fucking the police car on the bridge that got his roof ripped off.
Yep.
Like they're going, and like the cable to the bank, to the cable to the vault just flies over him, rips it off, and he's like legit driving that car and has to be like, now duck to avoid it. Like if he like loses track for a moment, he's fucking gone. Either the car goes in the wrong direction or he gets his head ripped off. Just not the best stunts ever made, but fucking great.
They
a lot of good
executed
fucking
very
stunts.
well.
Yeah, a lot of good fucking stunts here.
Cunning stunts.
And on that, total number of cars destroyed for this film, 260, baby. think
Is
that's
that
a
more?
current high. No. Actually, no. I think one of them might be lower. I think that is a current high.
Paul's checking the notes.
Somewhere around here.
Thrilling audio.
Up to now, it is the most cars destroyed in the franchise.
Nice. That's a lot of cars.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome in that they did all that because of the fact that, like, again, at this point, pretty much everything was practical. Were there any other scenes in the movie where you really see a lot of destruction of cars like that? Other than that first, like, the train scene?
Of a lot of cars, no. That's pretty much. I mean, they flip a bus 7 times and somehow nobody dies.
Like in real life? Or...
Well, that whole scene, like, okay, like this movie starts off crazy and stupid. So, like, a more cynical person would probably have walked out. So they do a very similar thing from the first film where they have 3 cars and they never show who the third driver is. But 3 drivers.
A more cynical person would have looked at the title and been like, Fast and Furious? I highly doubt that. And then walk out.
Well, I mean, it's not just called Fast 5, but. No, so they do a similar feat as in the first film, where they get 3 cars to surround the bus to break out Dom. However, Mia flies ahead of him in a Nissan, not the 240, it's a Nissan supercar. I forget what it's called. Flies ahead of him, then just plays chicken with the bus to make him swerve, and then Brian in a Charger just hits the brakes. The bus, at an angle, hits the back of the Charger, and instead of destroying that Charger, flips over the car, while only the back windshield on the Charger breaks. The frame and body stay intact completely. Then the bus flips over 7 times, while nobody dies. And I'm pretty sure there's no seatbelts on those buses. I could be wrong. But nobody dies.
That's what saves him. You have to go limp.
Yeah.
And nobody is more limp than Mark Sinclair.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Dom never flexes.
Is that a good segue into your thing you're talking about?
I don't know what you're referring to right now.
You don't know what I'm referring to?
Oh, it's just, again, that's not even like for this movie specifically. Like, this movie really starts Dom doing awkward poses to seem more menacing.
Yeah.
Like, there's a standoff like at the car scene when they bring Hobbs in to like try to put a tracker on their truck, and instead of like facing him like you normally like he does most time, like, you know, either with a gun or a wrench, or he's just like facing him, he's like standing at like a 45-degree angle to him
with family.
and like. It's just weird. He's like flexing his arm, and I'm like, bro, everything on you is smaller than the Rock. Stop. Like, none of it makes sense. Even though they do a lot of camera work to make sure that they show that those two are relatively the same height. Like, even in that scene when they're standing face to face, they're like, they look like they're only like an inch and a half apart.
Fairly sure that they're not the same height.
Oh no, they're not at all. The Rock's like 6'5", and
Mark is like 5'11".
he's taller than I thought. He's closer to 6 foot, but yeah, he's definitely nowhere near the Rock's height. But they show it where it seems like they're almost the same height, which is insane. Like, maybe at most it appears like he's 2 inches shorter, but no, he's at least 5 to 7 inches shorter.
That is insane. Almost as insane as this original house wine, Cranberry Cosmo.
All right, Ryan's on round 4.
It's okay.
So, fun little fact. Mr. Diesel originally saw Fast 5 as the end of the core Fast and Furious franchise. Or trilogy, sorry. Fast and Furious trilogy.
The end of the family?
But since they made all the money, of course, they made another one.
I mean, it didn't really lend itself to an end.
Kind of did. The actual ending scene, when he meets Brian, they do one little race, their one little CGI race, and it's just flashbacks of the characters from the previous movies. Like, that was it. Everybody's happy. Everybody has their money. The montage at the end of everybody just driving off into the world with their millions, enjoying themselves. Other than those two dudes who blow all their money in Monaco, or at least, yeah, potentially, because it looks like it's going to fall on green.
Tigo Calderon?
And Don Omar.
Don't know.
Looks like they're all going to waste their money. But anyways, I mean, that, I think, was lent itself to being the end of the series because it looks like Brian and Mia retire on the beach. Dom and the Brazilian officer are doing their thing, and it looks like it very well could have been an end.
I suppose. I never really cared for Dom and her.
That's why I did last film.
She was way too good for him.
Yeah. But again, yeah, I think that's why they forced it because they were really thinking it was going to be the end. And again, even though like he's like that scene where like he goes to get his chain back, and he's like, I never thought anybody could understand the way I feel, but you do. I'm like, what, bitch? What, losing somebody? People do all the fucking day.
Yep.
You killed 10 people in this movie so far. What the fuck are you talking about?
Did you not see when you pulled that fucking vault? Like, you made numerous orphans.
Yeah, this movie didn't win any awards for writing, but it did need to.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
But yeah, even the favela rooftop race, the one where Brian has let me go through my notes again. He kicks a gate at somebody, does his famous flying punch, and a jumping elbow. Which I'm gonna say right now, The Rock stole Brian's move later on when he does a flying punch into Dom when they're fighting in the garage. I'm just saying he stole it from Brian. But yeah, that rooftop scene took over a week to film.
As an avid The Rock fan, I can tell you that the flying elbow is a...
Didn't do a flying elbow, flying punch.
You said a flying elbow.
He also did a jumping elbow. I said The Rock stole his flying punch.
Right, but I'm saying that the flying elbow is very much a The Rock thing.
So maybe it was an
exchange
thing for the fans.
It was actually kind of a thing that he used to do later on in his career when they kind of started giving up on the rock bottom, because the rock bottom is a very generic finisher. Where like at some point during the match, there would be like he would get whipped into the ropes and he would bounce off the ropes and he would do this flying like elbow cross body block sort of thing, and then as soon as the opponent would hit the mat, he would hit the mat with them, but he would just like spring immediately up and do the smell what the Rock is cooking and the elbow and it was great.
So while we're on this, actually, did you know your boy Paul Walker actually did most of his own stunts? He spent time before the movie working with a parkour specialist,
Nice.
so he actually could do it himself.
That's pretty cool. I suppose it's the beginning of the dangerous habit for him.
Oh, yeah. I mean that scene in particular. It's just like the rooftop chase or the chase through the favela. I know it took over a week, and a lot of that was because they're in Puerto Rico, and like the humidity made everything fucking like wet. Like they had to keep stopping because rooftops and the ground, like everybody kept getting almost getting hurt.
It's not the heat that gets you; it's the humidity.
All right.
Maybe he wanted to be the male Tom Cruise. It's a callback. Wait for you to get it.
And speaking of one of our favorite fast characters, your boy Tyrese.
Who's the bus Oakens partner?
Big time this year. This boy, he was in two massive franchises this year. They might have used him more in this film, but he had to fly back and forth to Atlanta to film Dark of the Moon.
Nice.
I think his last movie in that franchise.
Sounds right. Good call. That's it's pretty cool.
That's nuts. But so even with that, like they had three different crews working, three different film teams working concurrently, and it still took over 5 months to complete.
I mean, it was definitely a... just gonna make a mark for you.
I'm not editing this.
All right. Make you do it. It was definitely a. I forgot what I was gonna say.
Perfect. So big time. Long film again. Well, yeah, just a lot of opportunities because I feel like they kept adding a lot of stuff probably more last minute or closer to. Probably not stunt wise, but probably story wise. Because this was a flashpoint for the series. There were still moments in there where there's like actually good like character moments where Dom still seems like a human being.
Relatively.
When he's not, posing and trying to be bald Superman.
Yeah, like that very tender-hearted moment where he says, "This is Brazil."
Oh man, he should not do accents at all.
No.
His own accent's bad enough.
You know who should have told him not to do an accent? His family.
He protects him. He doesn't listen to him. So okay, I got a few problems.
I know that.
They got out of that torture room way too easily. Like the moment the bad guy leaves, Dom's just out of the chains. He just slips out of them like immediately. Like, boy, you got thick hands. What are you doing? That boy's got some thick hands. There's no reason he got out of those chains that quickly.
Maybe he flexed really hard when they put the cuffs on him, and then he just relaxed. When he
That must be what it is. Again, still weird how nobody died in the 7 flips of the bus. It's weird because I think it's just like when this movie came out at the time that he was doing stuff. For me, it was weird hearing Dwayne Johnson curse. He says "fuck" a few times, and it like was jarring because this was like his first like bad guy role.
He says "fuck" in Doom a lot.
Oh yeah, but only like 4 of us watched that movie.
Yeah, but
And even there, like I don't remember him at all until he like turns into the monster.
yeah. Listen, you're talking to the wrong person about The Rock if you want to nitpick his performances. All of them are excellent. Smell what he's cooking every single time.
So okay, when they do when they fuck with the cartel and then they get all the money together to bring to the vault, why does Tej think the best spot to watch them from is on top of a skyscraper?
Because it's visually interesting.
I'm like, you're supposed to be the big brain, like 189 IQ. Like, what are you doing on top of the roof? Like, you're assuming you're gonna be able to watch where they're going. What if they go behind another giant building? Like, it doesn't make sense. But it worked out in the end because reasons.
I mean, he always had his RC car camera that apparently nobody sees.
And we talked about this beforehand, but I love the scene because the studio made a conscious effort. They wanted to take this away from car racing. When they first go to the scene, like everybody calls out Dom and Brian. They know who they are, and they're like,
You think you don't recognize you?
They're gonna race his Porsche versus Charger. All this posturing back and forth, like calling each other out and all this. Cut to the next scene, they won.
Yep.
They skip it entirely, and I love that.
Wasn't it like
was
just
so
like a
dumb.
bunch of like shifting or whatever? Or was it just cut?
Straight cut.
Okay.
They're talking. Come on, legend, car for car. Okay. And then you go straight to them driving into the garage.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. And then Rome making fun of it because it's like, where'd you get the car from? Papa Smurf? One part that got me, and again, maybe I'm thinking a little too morbid about this. Your boy Brian. After the raid and whatever else, and they're sitting in this random house, early on before they get the team together, when they decide to get the team together, Brian and Dom are sitting on a porch. Mia's asleep. Brian asks Dom, "What do you remember about your father?" And Dom goes on this nice story about he was working and helping Mia with her homework and staying up late to learn the next chapter, help on the next day's homework. And Brian's like, I don't remember my father at all. And Dom's like, no, you're not like your father. You're gonna be different. You're gonna be there for him. Part of me started thinking like, damn, well, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
2 years later, although at least I think from what I picture I saw online, like he at least, I think his daughter was old enough to have some good memories with him, with the father. I think she was at least 12 years old. I think, like she looked, like at least like a preteen, young teenager. Because he was older than I thought he was when he passed. But
like,
yeah, huh?
Like 30s, 40s?
Probably closing on 40 because he's not a whole lot younger. He's a few years younger than Mark Sinclair. And I found out this week he was in a movie from 1994.
Tammy and the T-Rex?
Tammy and the T-Rex.
Yeah. He sure was. With one Miss Denise Richards.
Yes. We'll talk about that maybe another day.
This was not talked about before the podcast.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
That's the notoriety of this movie.
That got me. This movie didn't have as many great quotes as the previous film, as previous films, but one that definitely got me was when Tej and Roman first get on the scene.
Yep.
Oh hell no! They really went straight to the bottom of the barrel here, didn't they? Guess they did, considering your ass is here. When are you going to give Martin Luther King his car back? As soon as you give Rick James his jacket back. Like, their delivery, fucking spot on. This is still, like, not quite peak Luda, but this is like, what is this? Probably around Moneymaker.
Sounds right.
So he's still bombastic. Not as young as he was. But let's go there. Tyrese is still Tyrese. He's still the motor mouth. I loved it. Loved it.
I mean, again, we already covered the most iconic line from this. This is Brazil.
Yeah, like some good interactions. Like again, right before that, when they roll up, and they say like you're under arrest. He's like, I don't. Or he said, you're under you're
Out of your jurisdiction.
No, before that, no. He's like, fuck it. I think he says you're under arrest. He's like, I don't feel under arrest. How about you, Brian? Nah, not even a little bit. And Hobbs just like, oh, let it sink in. What do I? Oh fuck! Oh damn it! It's one line I didn't write down, and I'm getting blank stares from the guy next to me.
To be fair, the guy next to you is fairly drunk.
I know. That's a problem. And I'm guessing you didn't rewatch the movie.
I don't think that's a problem.
I'm guessing you didn't rewatch the movie.
What movie? If you haven't noticed, the theme of this last podcast is just to antagonize the shit out of Paul. Well.
But yeah, this movie was pretty good. I mean, not as rewatching it wasn't as memorable as I remember it being. Like there were some pretty good scenes. When they robbed the train, some decent fights there, and when they fly off the cliff, the bank heist. Good little character moments. Good little character moments throughout it. And even at the end, where Hobbs is reluctantly like amused by the gang's dealings and how they got the money.
That sounds very interesting.
Yeah, and I think they even though they were maybe thinking it might be the last one, they were still setting up a sequel with bringing back Eva Mendes, showing Letty still being alive, teasing the. I think the studio and Lynn wholeheartedly wanted there to be a sequel. I think just going into it, they were looking like a nod, and it almost wasn't, because do you know who their first option? You know who their first choice was to play Hobbs?
Don Johnson.
Close.
Nice.
Tommy Lee Jones.
What?
This movie would have been a lot different if Hobbs was played by Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah. They'd have to search every outhouse, every penthouse, every.
Maybe like, when the detective is like, "This doesn't make sense. Why did they do this?" Instead of like throwing throwing the pad away, he just would have said, "I don't care."
I don't care.
Yeah, apparently, like the only reason it really even happened was because a fan suggested it to Vin Diesel that like it'd be really cool to see them work together on screen. Like, all right.
I mean, absolutely it would.
Every interview I saw, that's the only answer I can get as to why that happened. I mean, probably a studio would be like, hey, this guy's doing a lot of big movies and he's still relatively cheap. Let's bring him in. At that time, that was 2011. He had done a few movies, but like he wasn't The Rock. He was The Rock.
Well,
He was Dwayne Johnson. He wasn't massive yet.
so again, on the note of the Tommy Lee Jones, specifically for this quote that we were trying to figure out earlier, I just found out. I just Googled the shit out of this. So it was Luke Hobbs. Hey, Toretto, you're under arrest.
I don't feel like I'm on a red. How about you, Brian?
No, not a bit. Not even a little bit. Oh, just give it a minute. It'll sink in. We didn't kill those rays. I don't give a shit. I'm just here to bring two assholes in whose names create my desk. Again, it's
Yeah, I couldn't see.
sounds like a real hero.
I couldn't see Tommy Lee Jones doing that.
And then eventually gets back to Toretto.
I don't think
It's like he's in the room. It's like he's in the room.
Your mistake is thinking that you have a goddamn choice, boy.
And you're gonna say, you're in the matter. It's on the This is Brazil.
It comes out of nowhere because he's doing his normal grumble and then just Brazil.
Your mistake is thinking in America. You're a long way from home. This is Brazil.
It's kind of racist. Like,
He should not do. He should not do accents at all. Whatever accent he does as a normal accent for his movies is enough.
he should just be Dominic Toretto or
He's just Vin
Pitch
Diesel.
Black. What's his name?
He's just Vin Diesel.
I actually enjoy that series. I don't remember what his name is.
Even Riddick just became
Yeah.
Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
Like he became that character. Like again, like it's so jarring seeing the Fast and Furious from 2001 to seeing movies like some of the last three movies. I mean, again, granted, actors change over 20 years, but he was a good actor actually. Like I actually felt some of those scenes where he's talking about how he lost control and almost killed a guy and messed him up, and we actually see the pain that he had from that from what he did. Whereas now he's just well, let's go punch some dinosaurs. This is what we're looking at now. This is where
Punch some dinosaurs.
But if you haven't, must see. If you haven't, I mean, well, we didn't spoil a whole. I mean, there's no plot to really spoil, so it's just dumb fun. It's great.
In all honesty, the plot that is there doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, anyways. So, even if we were to tell you exactly what happens, wouldn't make a difference.
So get in there, check it out,
Get up in them guts.
and next week, I think it's called Fast Furious 6. I don't. I'll be honest. After this point, I forget the names. Mm-hmm. You just kind of call it whatever you want, whether it's Fast 6 or Furious. I think it's Fast 6 again, and then Furious 7, and then Fate of the 8. Fate of the 8. Fate with F8 of the 8.
No, it's Fate of the Furious.
Fate of the Furious is right.
Yeah.
Either way, it's just terrible.
It's chewy.
That's going to be a rough movie to watch again.
Yeah. So I'm probably not going to do it. Thank you for joining us on this one last podcast. I don't know if Fast 6 is a continuation of this line of movie dumb. I don't know exactly how to really go about it. It was like a very different movie from everything before it, but it followed the direction that Fast 5 was going in. And then things just kind of went off the rails from there. Like, this is where they really start to jump the track, and then they just sort of gradually just keep going farther and farther off the rails.
6 still makes a little bit of sense, only because you have characters that, one, are expendable. 2, I mean, as far as in the eyes of like Hobbs and the government, these lives are expendable. They have the skills needed to deal with these people that they've been having trouble with. And really, either they beat them, they stop them, and fine, we'll give you your immunity, or they don't and they die, and well, that's one. It's 6 less problems to deal with.
Yep.
7, however many are left alive. So really, for them, it's a net win. So I understand why that one, and then they just keep, and then they bring in they bring in Jack Burton.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. The check's in the mail. That's what old Jack Burton says.
They bring in Kurt Russell, and then from that point, they're just like, "Yeah, we're a special forces team now, guys. That's just what we're doing now. We're just gonna work with the CIA. They just solve problems around the world." It escalates quickly, but the signs are there.
Yes.
Because even this again, like they go from like robbing tankers and going for revenge to actively trying to fuck with / take down the biggest crime person in Brazil. Like it's a jump. They jumped the fucking shark on this shit.
Okay, where?
They jumped the shark on that one.
No, I said where. I said where.
Oh, with 5.
No, where?
I don't know. Sure.
Brazil.
I don't have the linguistics skills of Mark Sinclair.
That's true.
If you do.
That is one of your many failings.
Many.
Yes.
I'll work
As
on
well
that.
as not having the quads of The Rock.
That's all of our failings, then, because he has bigger quads than
Or
he has bigger quads than characters written in the 90s.
Or the humor of
Rob Liefeld. That was it.
Rob Liefeld. The humor of Rob Liefeld. No, the humor of Ludacris, or the suaveness of Tyrese, or the driving skills of Paul Walker. Too soon. I got it.
To be fair, he wasn't driving.
It's true, he wasn't. The mechanic skills of Paul Walker.
Well,
that's going to do it for us today on This Won't Last podcast. Thank you for joining us. Please check out our social media sites. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We are on Instagram.
we're everywhere. If we're not somewhere, let us know, and we'll get on there. We're shameless, and we have no problem joining anywhere.
Google us. This Won't Last podcast should turn up some interesting results. Check out my drink series. This Won't Last call. Check out D's Happy Good Morning series. Check out Paul's Let's Get Political, which is going to happen. He thinks it's not, but it's going to.
If you have any interest in us doing some Twitch streams, let us know.
Please do.
We're old heads, so probably do something like spades or dominoes, or we got a few board games we might play.
We'll probably just confusedly look at the camera and go, "Is this on? Are we live?" But that should be entertaining too. You can laugh at us. I'm fine with that.
If you want us to do an OnlyFans, let us know too.
Ooh, only feats.
Whatever, man. You let us know. If you're willing to pay for it, we're willing to do it. We are, at the end of the day, whores.
It's true. It's true.
And dirty whores, not the clean ones. We'll do anything.
Nope. Yep.
We want notoriety and clout. So
I just want money.
I'll spread them cheeks.
I'll spread his cheeks too, if that's what you're into. Anyways. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.